Hi guys, it's Gerald Porschman here. What can be more difficult in your relationships than coping with people who are confrontational, obnoxious, manipulative, or even hostile? I mean, who doesn't encounter difficult and hostile people in some areas of their lives? And you know what you feel like after an encounter with a person who is oppositional, sometimes provoked, powerless, perhaps even vulnerable. That's because hostile aggressive people have a sixth sense. They seem to know intuitively what buttons to push to keep you off balance. Although your main aim is to get along with this person's, their objective is to dominate and control so they can have their way with you. Difficult people are difficult for one good reason. Over time, they've discovered that by being oppositional, they can get whatever they want from another person. For them, their disagreeable ways, such as aggression and hostility, are nothing more than a means to make them feel good. And yet to us, their aggression is a weapon that wreaks emotional havoc by leaving us feeling hurt, confused, and perhaps even bullied. So what's the answer? Should you feel resigned to accept your fate when you're subjected to the inappropriate behaviour? Should you just grin and bear it? Or should you cope by rising above it all? Look, these are all possible ways of adapting, but I'd like to offer another alternative. First off, let's see if understanding what lies beneath their bluster and hostility helps you any. By peeling back a layer or two of the protective armour that they don in order to protect themselves, you may see this person in a different light. Would you even believe me if I were to suggest to you that a hostile, aggressive person beneath the surface is much like you and me? All they really want is to be cared about and accepted for who they are. But unlike you and me, they have developed some fairly maladaptive ways of achieving that end. Having been the victim of their venom and anger, I know it must be hard for you to see a bully as a frightened, insecure person, but that's exactly what they are. In fact, because of their fears and insecurities, they've developed some strong habits that serve to protect them. You know the old saying, the best defense is a good offense. Well, the difficult person has mastered every nuance of that saying, for it's only when they're on the attack, acting out with aggression and hostility, that they feel safe, powerful, and in control. Understanding what motivates a difficult person to be difficult is one thing, but what to do about them when they cross your path is another thing. Try to keep these points in mind. There is nothing that you can do or say that will change a difficult person. These people are the way they are for a reason, and no amount of reasoning or kindness will change them. When confronted with a difficult person, be respectful but firm. Part of what they hope to accomplish is to bait you into fighting with them. Remember, you can choose whether or not you want to be sucked into their game. Be respectful, be firm, but try to maintain some measure of a detachment and emotional distance by not taking the bait. Now believe me, this one is easier said than done, but do not no way personalise what is unfolding between you and the hostile person. Now I know it's difficult not to internalise an emotional assault, yet in order not to let them get the best of you, emotionally detaching from their assault is exactly what you need to do. Just remember, it's never easy dealing with a hostile person, not because of your inadequacies, but because they make it difficult. To be sucked into their game will guarantee that you will feel like a loser. So try the following suggestions and see if they make emotionally detaching a little bit easier for you. Here's what I call Gerald's checklist. Remind yourself whose problem this really is. It's theirs, not yours. Remind yourself that you can choose whether or not to let a hostile person dictate to you what's going to be done. Remind yourself that you can choose whether or not you're going to take the bait and be sucked into their game. Remind yourself that you can walk away at any point when the confrontation happens with a hostile person. And finally, none of their attack is about you. It's about them and their insecurities. And like I say, they're not going to be invited to your barbecue. Thanks for listening.